1 second. How's someone like it with hot? There you go, people are coming. Hey, how's it going? Let's just wait for a bit for a few more people to come. No more. What is up? Hello, hello, hello. Oh, 10 people already. Brilliant. This is brilliant quickly. I'm very good, thank you. How are you all doing? Make sure you use the comments. Like, tell me how you guys doing. I think exams are quite close to you guys. Hello, S. Welcome to the live chat. Apologies for not having many videos at all for the last few weeks. It's been a long time. Hello, Matthew. Hello, Samath. Hi, Afan. Brilliant. That's very nice. It's not really a clean shave, is it? It's a rough shave. I've literally got no time nowadays to shave even. Oh, questions already. This is brilliant. Yeah, what do you guys think about Brexit? I don't know what's going on. As in, I can see how some people argue that it's good for the independence of the UK and you start developing your own trade relations and all. But then, I guess being part of the bigger EU is quite important for trade. And I guess even as young people, we have the Schengen zone. You know, you can travel around within Europe. But I think at the moment, the way they're going about it, they're absolutely screwing it up in terms of how they're going about it. Like, seriously, if you do need a Brexit, like, do it properly. Don't. It's annoying how they're sort of trying to make a deal, but then the deal isn't the best deal. And sort of like, for the last 2.5 years, it's been on the news and it's been sort of taking up all these headline spaces and all. There are more important things people should be focusing on than just, oh, are you part of the EU or not? Fix homelessness, work in the healthcare system, you know, work in your infrastructure. All of these things that the UK should be focusing on. The people have just had sort of wool pulled over their eyes. So it's a funny issue, I think. But as you know, I'd like to keep out of politics. All right, let's look at these questions. There's lots of questions coming in. Sorry, my face is a bit big. I'm on the iPad. Gosh, okay. You're stressing. People are stressing for exams. You've got a month left. I've got 2 weeks till my exams, and you're saying you're stressed. Imagine how stressed I am. But yes, stress is always going to be there. Everyone will be stressed who's doing the exam. So what you need to make sure is that you realise, right, you have a certain amount of time left. You will be stressed. You should know that you'll be stressed. Anticipate that you will be stressed, and find ways of working around that stress. Tell yourself you have many weeks left. Tell yourself that, you know, you have been working hard enough, and sort of make sure you time it properly. Make sure you sort of know when you want to get things completed by, because ultimately before the exam you want to make sure you can pass papers. You don't want to miss out on those, because ultimately if you don't do past papers then you don't know what exactly to revise on just before the exams. How important is work experience for medicine? It's one of the most important things. Without work experience, you might as well forget medicine, simply. Medicine is one of those careers, like, very different to banking or law, etc. You need to have experience of what a healthcare setting is like if you are to put forward a good application. And to be fair, making the effort of organising work experience, it shows the admissions tutors that you are interested. And again, medicine is a lifelong career. It's not one way you just sort of do it and then, you know, go away very quickly. Isn't necessary to the 5 things you listed for work experience. So it's not necessary to have them, right? You don't have to do a research placement, a volunteering placement, a work experience placement. But then again, you don't have to get the top grades and still have a good life. You don't have to have the latest car to have, you know, a good life. There are some things which having will be beneficial, right? So having a research lab placement, having lots of volunteering, having the different work experience placements set will only help you. It'll only make things easier and better, right? So it depends on whether you want to do the bare minimum, or whether you want to do whether you want to get into a good competitive medical school. Oh, sorry. And remember, your medical school will make a big difference to sort of, you know, the 5-6 years you spend studying. If you go to a crappy medical school, like, all medical school is good, but what I'm saying is, If you go to one which you don't like as much, then you're going to spend 5 6 years in an environment which you don't really like. So it's worthwhile, especially at your stage, to put in the effort to get somewhere which you want to be, and then that makes it nice. Imperial is one of the best medical schools in the country. Simple as. Why did you apply to Cambridge over Oxford? Well, Cambridge is literally one of the... Again, it's like when people... What I really hate sometimes, sorry to say, I don't really like being negative, but when people start saying Oxford versus Cambridge and all, I know you're not asking that, but that's one of the most stupid questions that people ask. It shows how shallow people are. Oxford and Cambridge are equally some of the best universities in the world. Arguably, you can't even compare them. In terms of the research output, in terms of the opportunities they give, they are equally the best. Now, the only reason as to why one should compare Oxford and Cambridge is to see whether their way of teaching suits them. So the Cambridge course is very scientific. I think Oxford is also scientific, but the Cambridge course is very, very much research scientific. You really learn the intricacies, the actual molecular aspects of everything that goes on. You do it at Oxford as well. I'm not saying you don't. But the difference is at Oxford, I feel as if their course is a lot more translational, I feel. The Cambridge course is very much, you learn pure science, and then suddenly when people hit the hospitals, it's like completely different. Whereas I think the way they teach at Oxford, it's much more like you transition into the clinical care, into the clinical part of medicine much nicer than you do at Cambridge. That said, Cambridge again, I think is very mathematical, is very the approach they have to medicine is very to an extent mathematical. So doing engineering for third year, you really get to see how Cambridge is actually a very scientific university, as opposed to Oxford, which is much more based on the arts and humanities. Still, medicine is still science, but what I'm saying is the twist that Oxford place on medicine incorporates more more humanities and arts, I'd say, than Cambridge does. Anyway, how's revision going? Revision is on track, so that's looking good. How would you schedule this half term to revise? Well, it depends on what you need to work on. Are you struggling with the actual theory? Are you struggling with the concepts? Work out what you are struggling with during term time and try and sort that out during half term. Is it half term or is it actual holidays now? I'm pretty sure you guys have got your Easter holidays, no? Or maybe because term is so different here, I'm a bit lost. Tips for GCSE chemistry. So, that's a good question. GCSE chemistry, I'd say... GCSE, okay, thank you, Matthew. Sorry, I'm being at university, you're a bit out of touch, I guess, with what happens at school. GCSE tips for chemistry. Chemistry at GCSE is very much just like rote learning. So just make sure you're good at calculations. Make sure you can do titrations. Make sure you can balance equations. Like all these basic things, it's really worthwhile. Like watching YouTube videos or like asking a teacher or doing past questions. It's really worthwhile to get these tips nailed. If you can nail all the balancing equation questions, which is really easy actually, like compared to math like this, for example, like the stuff you guys get at GCSE chemistry is really like it's trivial. So and even this math isn't that hard. So what I'm saying is make sure you nail the basic calculations of chemistry. Once the calculations for all sections are sorted, then start learning the theory, which I think is the way to go for chemistry. 1 second. So someone's asked about they're looking for a certain type of person besides grades. Well, as in, yeah, they are looking for a certain type of person, right? What sort of type of person are they looking for? That's the question. They're looking for people, not what you'd consider the certain type of person. They're not looking for a posh, well-off sort of, all of that sort of person. No, they're not looking for that. They're looking for people who are actually passionate about the subject they're applying for. They're looking for a person who has taken the time to read up on their subject, who has taken the time to watch videos on their subject, who has taken the time to go listen to lecturers, to go listen to big professors about that subject. That's who they're looking for. So when people say Cambridge and Oxford are looking for a certain type of person, yes, they are looking for a certain type of person. And that type of person is someone who loves their subject. That's the best bit of advice that I can give someone. If you actually want to study medicine, if you've really spent time volunteering for many months, if you've really tried to do as much work experience as you've done, that will show through in your application. the amount of research you've done into medicine will show through. And then you will be that type of person they're looking for. And given your grades are all right, that they meet the minimum grades Cambridge require, you'll have no problem. And the same applies for Oxford. So when will the vlogs start again? So the vlogs actually, I do love making the vlogs, but it's just, it's an extra thing which sort of complicates the day. And at the moment, with the amount of stuff I've got to do, it's just not the right time, I think, to vlog. Yes, I know you guys find it super interesting, and it is amazing seeing into sort of, not amazing, but I guess it's just interesting seeing what sort of my life is like. But yes, now's not the time, but I'm sure I'll make a few vlogs in the future once things get a bit more exciting. I got pulled post-interview, a good accomplishment. Is getting pulled at Cambridge. So getting pulled at Cambridge, what does that mean? So when you get pulled, I wouldn't say just getting pulled is an accomplishment. Getting pulled, then getting picked up by another college, that's an accomplishment. Why? It's because getting pulled, then picked up, shows that other colleges, not just the college you applied to, just the colleges in Cambridge generally, considered you good enough to get into Cambridge. Now, the reason why people get pulled in general is because the college you apply to initially, they're like, yes, this candidate is okay, they're kind of good enough for Cambridge, but our college, we've got better applicants that we'd rather admit. So when you get into the pool, fine, there are so many people in the pool. There are so many people in the pool. So what I think is impressive is when another college, for example, let's say Fitzwilliam, or let's say Trinity, or let's say St John's, they don't have enough applicants to sort of fill their college. They're like, let's look into the pool. And if you're a candidate that, looks impressive in the pool, they'll take you in. That's impressive. And you have to really think about it. Like, you can't really predict how many good people will apply to a certain college each year. But, like, for example, when I applied to Jesus, I never realised that Jesus had some of the most competitive applicants. I was speaking to my director of studies, and he said, oh, yes, Jesus, every year we have some of the best applicants that apply. And I was like, I thought Jesus was easy to get into. So that was quite a surprise to me. And even, I'll tell you a good fact, actually. Some people think Trinity is hard to get into. In my year, someone who applied to Jesus got picked up by Trinity from the pool. So that kind of tells you the standard that sort of the applicants were that year at Jesus. So it really depends. But the academic colleges, I would say, the ones who get the most competitive students would be Emmanuel, Pembroke, Christ's. Just generally in Cambridge, those colleges are considered to be the academic powerhouses of Cambridge. And obviously, if they're known to be academic powerhouses, kids who've got very high grades would just generally shift towards those. So really look into these things before you apply. But most importantly, make sure you like the college. I like Jesus so much because I used to row quite a lot at school, so it followed on very well. So many questions here. Should I practice? So I like practicing past papers topic-wise to make sure I've mastered a topic. But then near the exam, you want to make sure you're doing past papers as a whole. Otherwise, what will happen is you will end up not being able to do a whole past paper. You might be really good at sort of force equations. You might be really good at spring calculations. You might be very good at induction and electromagnetism. Fine, you've done all the topic-based questions for that, but then it turns out you've completely missed out astrophysics. So in the exam, you'll get all the marks in sort of electric stuff, then nothing in astrophysics. So make sure you sort of mix both. Initially, do the topic. So especially for math, I loved doing just pure questions on, let's say, integration. I'd do 20 integration questions, and at the end of 2 days, I'd be just amazing at sort of integration. Then I know that when I do a past paper, I can guarantee myself those integration marks. And slowly, the more, as you get through the different packs of topic-based questions, you will end up covering more topics, and eventually you'll be at a stage where you do a past paper, then after the 8 to 9 questions, you only are unsure about one of the questions. And the question you're unsure about is usually the question they put in just because it's very hard. So yeah, it's a very good approach. Hey Sen, is it 100% true that the college you applied to has no effect? As in, of course it has. I don't understand that question. That's not a good question. You apply individually to the colleges. There are different people interviewing at different colleges. So obviously, just even at that basic level, it has an effect. It's not like even if you apply to a college, you're getting interviewed by a central panel. So that question, I wouldn't say it's not the best of questions. Maybe rethink that question. How do you stay motivated to revise? You just have to think of the end goal. Like, seriously, you have to just think of how blissful it's going to be once you're done. And so you just work hard for that. But also for me, I think the satisfaction of revision is the actual knowledge that once I finish the revision, I'll actually know the stuff, and then I'll be able to do questions. And for me, that's exciting. For me, thinking ahead and being like, oh, if I do this hard work, then later on I'll be able to sort of solve these problems with none of these issues I'm having now. For me, that's enough to make me sort of understand that topic and get over it. For UCAT, is it good to go on a course? Yes, for UCAT, Medify, they've got an amazing course coming up. I'm actually releasing a few videos with Medify soon. Yes, do courses. UCAT, you just need to do practice. Sorry, I'm just reading the questions. So GeoPie, is it okay to go from a C to an A/A star in physics? I don't know, I can't say. Physics is one of the hardest subjects to do. I wouldn't say a C to A star is realistic. Try and be realistic. A C to an A is like easy. C to an A is very easy. But getting from the A to A star level is the hard part, because, like, for example, at my school, of like the whole cohort, let's say like there were 30 or 40 kids doing physics. Like most of them got A's, so clearly getting A's is hard. But getting an A star, only like 6 or 7 of us got A stars. I think in physics, it was one of the hardest subjects to get an A star in. So I think generally, physics, like chemistry, is one of those subjects where most people do okay, like get an A, and then very few people get A stars, like, a small percentage. Biology, on the other hand, or like math, like 30% of students get A stars. So, not 30 maybe, but like it depends on your school, I guess, and also like all of that. But it's easy to get A stars in some subjects than others. Any tips on improving memory? You can't improve your memory, but there are many good techniques that can help you retain more information. Active recall, spaced repetition, all of that. Well, go watch Ali Abdal's videos. What resource for A-level math? Use physics and math tutor. It's fantastic. Very good. Let me put my glasses on so I can see a bit better from far away. Do you like chemistry? Yes, I used to enjoy chemistry quite a lot, but I didn't love it. I just did it. I just ended up liking it because I knew I had to like it. I knew that liking chemistry will make it easier for me. So then I ended up sort of making myself interested in chemistry. Gosh, I'm developing a double chin. I'm getting fat. These exams are really taking a toll on me. Do Cambridge consider what school you went to when looking at your grades? Well, given your silly username, I'm actually not going to answer your question. What sort of username is that? Right, next question. Is it possible to get A star? Yes, it is possible. Work hard. Summary notes and past papers, flashcards or past. Summary notes and past papers or flashcards are possible. I like summary notes, to be fair. At university, I think flashcards work better, especially for medicine, because there's so much stuff to memorize. So maybe at A-level, summary notes are better because you have, like A-level, I guess the way they test you is more about your understanding instead of content. So summary notes will be better for A-level. Summary notes plus past papers. Okay, so Iman Leah, you've asked which college is more likely to take you in. Again, it's a very silly question to ask. It really doesn't. How would you say? No college is easier to get into than another college, because to get into Cambridge, there's a minimum standard, right? So as long as you are above that minimum standard, that you'll get in, regardless, hopefully. You just have to apply to a college that you like, that also suits your interests. So if you're a sporty person, it makes sense that you apply, that you apply to a sporty college. If you're a person who's very musical, then apply to a more musical college. And if you are sort of applying to these colleges that match your interests, then when you go to the college, you're like, actually, on top of my work when I'm here, I love music myself. I play lots of instruments, and you have an amazing orchestra, and I'd love to join in with that. Whereas if you go to a college which doesn't have a big musical society, and you're like, oh, I love I love music and stuff, they're going to be like, well, we don't really have much of a music scene here. So yeah, but Emmanuel's harder. Why am I saying Emmanuel's harder? It's because Cambridge have a very good chess team. Some people here are amazing at chess. So yeah, Duke, yeah, like I'm not good at chess, but I've got some friends who are amazing. I don't watch University Challenge, by the way. I don't watch it. I've watched it a few times, but like it's really stupid. No one has. They're all like really good at humanities and history, but they're crap at science. It's really funny. Unless you get like some super cool physicist who comes up and they just completely wreck everything. So Emmanuel's harder. Emmanuel's harder because it's simply like it's a very academic college. It's known to be an academic college, so it attracts people who've got high grades. And if you've got people who, um, if you've got people who go to a college, which or apply to a college which is academic, they're more likely to have very good grades. It doesn't make it harder to get into. It just means you've got more competition relative. You're going to have more other applicants who've got like 99% across their mock exams or something, which is yeah, which is a bit interesting. What is the reputation of Gonville and Keys? Firstly, again, it's Gonville, I think, with two L's, so make sure you get that correct. Um, Gonville and Keys is a it's known for medicine. Like Keys was a doctor, Keys was a physician. So Gonville and Keys is a very medical college. They love their medicine. It is again known to be a bit tricky to get into. I think getting into Gonville and Keys is quite difficult, but then once you're in, you just do very well because they're just very. Though I've heard it is quite high pressure. In terms like at Jesus, for example, the supervisions are really relaxed. The like director of studies are really relaxed. It's a very chill vibe. Whereas I've heard at Gonville and Keys, it does get quite intense. How was engineering so far? Engineering's very good actually. Thank you very much. It's been an interesting year. Lots of math. Because what happened was I went straight from second year medicine to third year engineering. So what most people do is you go from having most engineers they do first year engineering, second year engineering, then third year engineering. Whereas I just went straight from medicine to third year engineering. So yeah, it's been interesting, and it's been a lot of catching up, but it's fine. I love it. Sorry, just reading a few questions. Please bear with. Were you surprised by how many people were smarter than you when you first went to Cambridge? As in, I never considered myself to be that smart before I even applied to Cambridge. So when I got here, it wasn't like I was surprised that, oh gosh, everyone's cleverer than me. Like it's not like unless you're like whichever field you're in, people are going to be better than you. But when I got to Cambridge, uh, yeah, I was more impressed by the skills that people had. It's very impressive as to how broad people's experiences are. It's very broad as to how broad people's passions are. So that was something I was very surprised by. But also, yeah, some people here are ridiculously clever. But then you have to think, why are they clever? Are they clever because they just work their asses off in their own time? Or are they clever because they're just naturally gifted? There are many types of people here, so you have to really consider that. Which type of engineering do you do? So I do information engineering, but also some bioengineering modules, some business modules also. So a nice mix of different things. When should you start doing full past papers? Yeah, so like do past papers as soon as you can. Like start this up. Harry, your question about maths A level, maths at Cambridge. Math at Cambridge is one of the best courses you can do. If like apparently if you get into the master's course, if you can do 4 years of maths at Cambridge, you will literally be some of the best mathematicians in the world. That's how it goes. Like the Cambridge Masters Math course is known as like world renowned to be the best math course in the world. So, what should you do? Good question. I think you need to. Doing 4A levels will help because it shows that you're academically sound. You have step exams as well, so make sure you look into those. Step exams are very important for maths. I think it's really funny actually. So for math, I think because they know it's so hard to get into, when they give offers out for math, they give out more offers than places because they know that this exam called the step exam that people do after, or I think that people do before their A levels, they know that their step exam is very difficult, and so they expect a lot of people who get offers not to actually get their place. That's how competitive math is to even get in. So yeah, math is good. So do as many subjects as you can, but make sure you do well in the math subjects. Make sure you get like top marks in your end of year school exams. Right, good. Abby, brilliant. You've changed your name. Perfect. Now I can answer your question. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you talk. So what your question generally is, shouldn't have shaved. Yeah, as in like it's easier. Otherwise, I fiddle around with a bit. Schools, they're always taken into context. So if you went to, I always say this to everybody, if you went to a very very good school, and you only got a few A stars, it's a bit like, well, your parents wasted the money, didn't they? Whereas if you went to a not so good school where a lot of people are failing and struggling, but then you managed to get some few A stars, which is far better than the rest of the cohort, you look amazing. Why? Because you're someone who's managed to make the most of the few resources that you were given. Yeah, compare yourself to someone who went to a very good school who had everything given to them but then still didn't do their work. Then you look much more proactive. You look you look far better. So yes, when you apply to places like Cambridge, they do take your school into account, but it doesn't mean you can get grades lower than what they expect. So fine, you went to a struggling school in your GCSEs. Make sure you at least do very well at your A levels. Make sure you get the 2A star A minimum. And when you come for interviews, it's fair. They'll look at you and they'll be like, oh, you've done very well actually. You didn't go to a very good school, but you've done very very well in terms of grades. That's very impressive. And we think that if you come here, you'll do even better. So Kareem is like spamming, which is getting a bit annoying. So Kareem, stop spamming and I might answer your question. I know like you've asked, but your question isn't even that clear. So maybe rethink your question and I can answer. Which modules did you take for A-level math? I took M1, S1, and C1, C2, C3, C4. Yeah. I didn't, M1 was really funny. I kind of liked it, but then didn't like it because I knew the questions were really funny. S1, I didn't like it either. C1, I kind of liked, but maybe that's because I did well in that. C2, it was a bit of a fishy module. C3, again, a bit fishy. C4 was fantastic. Again, maybe think because I did quite well in that. So, have you ever had bad C's and B's in your end of the units test? Because I found myself trying some topics in physics, but never really getting the outcome I wanted. Yeah, as in, of course I've done badly. It's not like I've been like getting A stars and like 100% in every single test at school. It's like you have some tests where you just don't revise and you go and it's complete like plane wreck. And then you get the paper back and you've got like 40%. And you look at the kid next to you and they've got like 70% net. And that kid doesn't even do well usually. So sometimes you have proper... it's kind of funny to think about it. But yeah, you have some really funny days. Again, don't take it as a demotivating factor. If you know that you're usually quite good, then you've got like a crappy mark. It's simply because you haven't put in the time. Stop being a lazy crap and like go and learn that topic and make sure you don't do that again. So as well as although I'm laughing right now, sort of take it as like a funny thing and be like, yeah, I didn't do the work. That's why I did badly. Let's do the work now and do better. But make sure that, for example, if you did do the work for it, if you did work really hard for it, but then you did get a bad mark, then sort of look back and be like, okay, why did that happen? Maybe you learnt it, but then you didn't learn it in the right way, and that's why your mark isn't good. So you have to kind of be quite cautious as well when that happens. But if you just know you haven't revised and you've bombed it because you haven't revised completely, fair enough, make sure you actually revise. But don't say I will revise and then don't forget to revise later. Just go home that same day and sort that topic out. Sort that topic out. What are you planning to do this weekend? This weekend, let me show you actually. Since you're also interested in what I'm planning to do this weekend, I shall show you an example of what I need to get up to. So I need to do these questions this weekend. So maybe is it back to front? I don't know. This is all probability. So getting examined on this next in like 2 weeks time. So all of this stuff, lovely. Yeah, fun. But I might go and play some polo. Because I think like polo for me is how I relax, and I haven't played in like nearly a week now, so I might just go and play 2 chuckers. Literally the best sport ever. I know like people think, oh, polo is a bit, but like seriously, like not now, but one day when you can try it, do try it. Obviously I used to row before I did polo, so like I never really was in that sort of circle, in that sort of into those things. I hadn't even ridden a horse until like 15 years before I played polo, and then like yeah, played it. It's one of the most relaxing things. I think not the actual polo playing, it's more about the horses. Because the horses, they're just the most lovely things ever. And they're so funny and they're so gentle and you sort of stroke it and they're so soft and they're so warm and they're cuddly. Sort of jump on it, you run around, hit a ball a bit, and then you have a good chat and then you come back and work. Any tips for GCSE geography, Sen? Yes? Do as many past papers and just memorize it. Memorize the blooming content. The way I learned GCSE geography was through memorizing case studies from the exam papers. And I realized I didn't need as much detail to get the marks as I thought. So doing past papers for geography helped a lot. Good luck with your maths revision, Sen. It's not even maths, it's engineering. Don't call it maths. But it is, like, although it's engineering, information engineering is pure math. Like, when I started engineering, or even, like, recently, I've realized how much smarter engineers are than medics. Like, the medicine course, it's simply, if you can memorize, you're going to be good at medicine. Engineering, hell no. You have to actually have, like, a working brain to understand what's going on. And then I was amazed at how sort of clever they are. Tips for GCSE maths higher. Tips for maths higher. Again, for maths in general, all I can say is past papers. Like, there's nothing more I can say. UK CAT revision starts as soon as your exams are over. Yeah, in my opinion. Few examples of essay topics. Compare the structure of DNA with RNA. What is the function of a certain enzyme? Discuss enzyme function. Discuss how the pelvis is similar to the arm in terms of anatomy. Discuss the structure of the abdomen. Discuss the hierarchy of the nervous system. Discuss how competitive inhibition is different to other types of inhibition. Discuss how discuss physiology of the blood or whatever. So very many different questions I can ask. Cambridge interviews, like, you don't have to prepare for them. Make sure you do well in the BMAT first, then worry about interviews. So yeah, but to prepare, read books, read lots of books, watch videos, and become knowledgeable. Yes, 2 months is enough to go through the whole A-level course by all means. Would you say religious studies A-levels? Not if you're doing medicine. As in, if you're interested in it, go for it. But I've heard, like, some subjects just avoid in general because, like, the number of people who get A stars are low. So, like, when lots of kids did drama at GCSE, they're like, oh my gosh, drama's so easy, drama's so easy. What they didn't do was they didn't look at the actual statistics. They didn't realize that only, like, one person out of 50 kids got an A star in drama. And I was like, okay, I can have, like, an easy subject at GCSE, which I'm still going to have to do work for, but I won't even get an A star. And I was like, nah, I'd rather do a subject that I know if I work for I can get an A star. For example, geography, history. I didn't get an A star in history, though. I got 12 A stars and 1 A by 1 UMS point. Very annoyed. But, like, GCSEs or A levels, don't choose subjects because they're easy. You're going to have to work your ass off regardless, so make sure you choose subjects that if you work hard, you can get an A star in. I don't know why Crash removed your question after, but fair enough. Do Russell Group unis matter for medicine? No and yes. If you want to be like a run-of-the-mill GP, it doesn't matter. But if you want a good experience, then yes, it does. Yeah. As in, I did history and geography at GCSE, so don't worry, Chuck Day. I agree. Do RSA level. I do RS. Oh yeah, fine. Okay, yeah. So Nana agrees. As in, like, yeah, RSA level. I'm sure it's very interesting. And, like, I loved RS at GCSE. It was a really interesting subject. But then, like, there are some kids who just want to do religious studies or philosophy at university, and those kids will be, like, hammering out for an A star. So if you're doing, like, maths, biochem, then you're doing RS as a fourth one, or, like, you're doing biochem and RS, you're not going to have that same, like, urge to do well in RS, and then that might be like a lost A star. You might as well just do physics, another science. You know you're going to be good at science. Just go with the flow and get the 3 A stars. How did you prepare for the 25 mark essays? I don't know. I can't talk about it. Integrate. Oh, I'm not going to integrate for you now, mate. Come on. Jesus. What sort of questions that? But you'd use like the UV in an integral. It's a funny integral. How would you in oncology books? Emperor of All Maladies, but it's a very long book. What other oncology books can I think of right now? Oh, I think Emperor of Maldives is just generally a very good oncology book. Do you know Harm does cover some oncology, but it's not really like general oncology. I think that's the only one I read about. That's the only one I read about oncology. You know, Emperor Maladies. I mentioned it in my personal statement as well. Okay, good question. Try hard. What do you mean? Very good. So I'm just reading. Missing the beard. Yes, the beard will come back soon. Southampton Medicine. So Southampton Medicine. It's like again, it's another ordinary medical school. It's not like a. It's not like an amazing medical school, but then again, it's a medical school, which like a medical school is a medical school. It'll get you to become, to be a doctor. The top medical schools in the country are Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial. They're like the top three. I think Bristol comes in quite close also. Edinburgh is also meant to be very good for medicine. King's College, it rises and falls. It's got very good facilities, King's College, but I think King's College is much better for your postgrad training. So once you're a doctor, once you're a surgeon, King's College is fantastic for training. But I don't think the undergraduate is as rigorous. UCL, everyone says UCL is a good medical school, but nah. Like I was speaking to one of the top pediatricians in sort of all of East England, and I was like, UCL is a fantastic medical school, isn't it? The guy unfortunately just said no. Like UCL for medicine is just apparently the course is just not as good as it should be. I think people think it's good because UCL is as big as Imperial and it's big. It's a it's a big university in the middle of London, right? So people assume it's good. However, that said, I think UCL's strengths apparently lie in architecture. So UCL has like one of the best or the best architecture course in the country, and even people who come to Cambridge, they say yes, the UCL course is better, but they come to Cambridge for the name. Because obviously, like the Cambridge name does get you places. How about Plymouth Uni for Medicine? As in, I don't even know what Plymouth is, so I can't really say much. Newcastle University. I think Newcastle has got a really good hospital, like the RVI or something. So Newcastle is quite good for medicine. I think a doctor that plays with me, who plays polo with me actually. That doctor, he studied at Newcastle, and he's a very good doctor. Yes, RVI. Yes, exactly. And this doctor is like a fantastic. He's a resident at one of the Cambridge hospitals. He's a really good doctor, very nice person. Yeah, Newcastle, good university. Again, I wouldn't say one of the best, but it's a good university. Like I'd say better than what Plymouth sounds like. Opinions of Birmingham Uni for medicine. Is Cambridge medicine actually good? Like, look at the league tables. Don't actually ask me, is it actually good? Firstly, look at the league tables. Yes, it is good. You have to ask, is it good? Will it be good for me? That's the question you should ask. So tell me more about yourself and be like, will it be good for me? Yeah, that's the question you should ask. What's the question about? Is Cambridge medicine actually good? Seriously, guys, think about the questions you ask. Opinions of Birmingham Uni for medicine. Birmingham, I think, is fantastic for medicine. Birmingham is fantastic for medicine. I think also the city is quite interesting. So like, you have to think about the surroundings of it. So I think like, yes, it depends on whether you like the city as well. I think Birmingham is very interesting. What area of medicine are you thinking of specializing in? Surgery, med tech, orthopedic surgery, hopefully, or maybe plastics. I don't know yet. I don't know. So for London unis, would you say Imperial, UCL, King's, and George's? So Epic Games, you've just listed the London. Like, what do you mean? Like, do you want me to say which one's better, or are you just like listing the universities in London? St George's Medicine is a bit meh. It's literally at St George's. All you do is like medicine or biomed. So it's fantastic for biomed, I've heard, but for medicine, I'm not too sure. Sorry, I'm reading the questions. Just what's a socialite? I don't know. Define a socialite, please. Were you head boy at school? Do you think it'll help for applications? Head boy at school. So I think I applied for deputy head boy and head boy at school. Apparently, I got very close to being picked, but thank God I didn't, because the amount of effort, literally, as a head boy, you're a show boy. Yeah, as head boy of school, as head girl, you're simply like a puppet. You're a representative of the school. Other than the name being head boy, head girl, there's no other benefit. Other than people being like, oh my gosh, the head boy, head girl, there's actually no other benefit. Universities, they don't care. If you were head boy, head girl, and you applied to Cambridge with like okay grades, there's another kid who wasn't head boy, head girl, who had like, I don't know, 2-3% like more than you, then you're guaranteed to get in. Like the other kid will get in. So even as head boy, head girl, you will not get in if your grades aren't good. So ultimately, don't focus on the roles, focus on your grades first. Am I gay? Do I seriously sound gay to you guys? Jesus Christ. As in, like, that. What sort of question is that? Like, people are of all different shapes and forms. Seriously, mate. Sean Kelly, get lost. Someone report him. Remove. Silly people. How is UCL for physics and engineering? UCL is a very good university for physics and engineering, but I'd say better than UCL is Imperial for medicine. For physics, sorry. Imperial for science, it's the best. For arguably, I think the physics course at Imperial is meant to be, if not or better than Cambridge, like, if not as good as or better than Cambridge. Computer science, Imperial again, amazing. 40 years old, hoping to retrain to do medicine, studying A levels. What are your thoughts on studying with a mature student? As a mature student, I think it's a bit more. Difficult. I guess you have other commitments as well as work, but it's more than feasible. I know, like, many friends. Actually, a good friend of mine who plays polo with me. He's 42, and I'm like, okay. He's doing an MPhil in, I think, biological anthropology. Fantastic guy, but you can still study whenever you are. At whatever age you are. So yeah, go for it. Work hard, and I'll see you around here soon. Matt Garner, beautiful. You're here at Magdalen next year. Magdalen is amazing. It's an amazing college. Your hall is amazing. You get as much free time as you want to, so don't worry about that. You'll have a fantastic time. Just don't even worry about that. Just work your ass off and then join up. Then once you get to, you can sort of work out how much time you want to spend on work, how much time you want to sort of spend playing about. Or when I say playing about, playing a sport or making friends or playing an instrument, whatever you want to do. Is it harder to get into medicine through a gap year? No, it isn't. Doing a gap year, I'm not Bengali, by the way. Doing a gap year, it is very useful because you get doing a gap year where you do lots of medical work experience is useful because you get to sort of really get an insight into what medicine is actually like. Whereas if you do a gap year where you don't do anything medical related, where you sort of go to Bali and like sit there for 6 months and then apply for medicine, not the best of things. Gap year for medicine, what you really have to do is you have to show them that you're making use of that year, that your excuse for taking a gap year, or there's a year of academia, that that you will be good for medicine, that you are interested in it. Sorry, I'm getting a bit tired now. I need to do some work. I'm religious. As in, I wouldn't say I'm strictly religious. I feel as if I'm one of those. I'm religious, yes, but I'm also religious because I've been brought up with religion. Everything. Harry, I'm not ignoring you. I just, Jesus Christ, Harry, you've like copied and pasted that question like 200 times. So I'm not ignoring you, but like, is maths? Can't do physics, and I might drop it. I don't know, as in I don't do maths, so I can't really comment on it. But I'm sure the more maths related subjects you do, like physics is better for maths than chemistry is. So yeah. But I think for UCL, Edinburgh, Manchester, it'll be more than enough. Further maths is useful for. I'm struggling now because I didn't do further maths at Jadea. Cry. Jamal. Lots of work experience, but they all said no. The computer said no, apparently. Oh no, what do you do? Keep trying. But also, start volunteering, even if it's at like a care home. Like, go to 3-4 care homes and like start volunteering there. Still keep applying to hospitals. You might get a few in the Christmas holidays. You might get a few here and there. But firstly, just start volunteering. Maybe join St. John's ambulance. That's really easy to do. maybe go and join. Don't go and join like a charity shop. I think that's a bit useless in terms of for medicine. It's very good that you're doing charitable work. I'm not saying that's the bad thing. I'm saying it's just not relevant to medicine. So you'd rather do a volunteering sort of role that's relevant to medicine. Yes, or volunteer at a hospital. So I think many hospitals look for volunteers. So try and get into that. What do you think of PBL? I don't know much about PBL actually. The Cambridge course obviously doesn't do much PBL, so I haven't really got much experience. But I know it's a very different way of learning. I know it's like the modern way of doing medicine. I feel as if doing PBL. Jack, was that medical talk at City of London School Boys, like City of London School or something? But PBL I think is a modern way of teaching. It's a nice way of teaching. Whether I'd want to do it or not, I don't think I'd want to do it. No, I actually like learning the facts. So I like learning the raw science first, and then applying it, because then I can sort of think about different solutions and stuff. Whereas PBL, like if they're giving you a problem, then you're sort of learning the solution for it, which doesn't actually give you much scope for learning the first principles. So yeah, think about that. No, like universities, they won't actually ask you for I wouldn't say universities, they look out for how you say they ask for like work experience proof. But if you're like a dodgy student, let's say like your student oh yes, I was at the Jack Wolf, I was there. Oh, brilliant. I'm surprised you're there also. Brilliant. Well, is it the young person's medical conference or something? Anyway, about the work experience. So let's say you're an applicant where they're like, I don't know, for some reason they're slightly like, has this kid actually done this work experience? They might ask you for proof. So if your application seems relatively like genuine, they won't ask, or they shouldn't ask. But if they do, maybe that's the case. Or some medical schools might in general just ask all their students to send in all their proof. I wasn't asked at all to send in anything. So yeah. Except my A-level, I think my AS level certificates, Cambridge asked for it, but also UCL asked for those, which is fair enough. Is the medical degree the same regardless of what unit you go to? No, it's not the same, not at all. It's different. People say it's the same, but it's not. It depends on what level you're looking at. You remember doing the role play session? No, you should have done it. That's the thing. Like with these situations where like you're given the opportunity to have like a medical a doctor-patient relationship, always try and see it. Always like be forwards. Try and be like, hi, my name is Dr. Jack. Nice to meet you. Like go for these opportunities because it helps you develop confidence, which is again important for interview. If you're a confident person who can speak very well, who can think about things very well, interviews become a breeze. Anyway, yes, you can go to the gym many times a week and still be studying. I know people who go to the gym every day. So, Sen's bod shows it's possible. Oh, Cross, you're nice, aren't you? As in, like, to be fair, I haven't gone to the gym too much, but I'd say that's more because I just, at the moment, gym isn't my priority. My roleplay was informing my neighbour that I've run over the cat. I mean, come on. That's a good roleplay. And be like, sorry. I've got a plastic one to replace it. Yeah, but you can go to the gym. Like for me, like looking like amazing isn't my priority. Of course, it is nice to sort of, I guess, have a good summer bod. But sometimes, like, I don't know. I guess it's also genetics. Like some people like just generally have a high metabolic rate, and so they can keep a good body with ease. Whereas for me, like whatever I eat has an influence on my body. So if I don't go to the gym and do exercise properly, then I do quickly put on a bit of weight. But for me, that's not the biggest thing. But I do need to become healthier. That's one thing I need to improve at. My exams haven't happened yet, Asher, so I'm doing a quick study meet today. Gonna quickly wrap it up soon though. Would someone applying at Cambridge end up the same as someone who's studied at Liverpool? Probably not, no. As it depends on how motivated the person at Cambridge is, but if the person at Cambridge is motivated, they'll be like leagues ahead of someone who's at Liverpool. But then again, that said, if the person at Liverpool is very motivated, there might be a professor at Cambridge in 10 years' time. So it really depends. Right. What should we aim for in the BMAT for a competitive application? I think yeah, competitive application, you want to get at least sixes. For a very competitive application, get sevens. For a decent, for like a normal application, get fives. Um, I will fight you for dissing Sen. He is godly. Oh, that's very nice of you. The stuff people say on the internet. But yes, fives for like an average application. Again, you don't want to be average. Six for a strong application, like oh, this guy might be good. Then seven for like oh, we want this guy or this girl. Right. Last question. Last question. GCSEs don't match too much for Cambridge, but like at least get most A stars. Oh, good. Oxbridge versus Imperial. Nice question. I wouldn't say there are many big differences other than the fact that Oxbridge, Imperial's Imperial. Like Imperial's in London, it is quite scientific. Then again, the Imperial course is it's different. I'll make a video on that. Anyway, right, secondary school classes, was I the smartest? No, I wasn't the smartest, as in I can name in every single class someone who's smarter than me, but I always looked up to them. I was like, why is this kid smart? How are they studying? And I tried to sort of gain from them. So even though if like I appreciated that there were smarter kids than than me, because I saw it as an opportunity for me to learn how to be smarter myself. Yeah. So like one thing to end this video, and I sort of notice, if you see someone who is better than you at something, if you see someone who is slightly more skilled, then don't be like, oh, don't be jealous of them. Be like, oh, you're amazing at this. Tell me more. How did you do this? What did you read? What did you what did you do to do well? Anyway, right. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Hopefully, this has been interesting to watch. I think hopefully I'll release a video tomorrow about applying to medicine. But I'll speak to you guys soon, hopefully. Anyway, bye bye, guys, and I will.